Hi, so this is just a recap of what we've just been talking about as part of the session tonight. I hope you all found it useful. Thought I'd kind of go over the points that we went through and the questions you asked, just as a reminder. So we'll just start off very quickly with the points of sail, just as a reminder. So we've got a head to wind here, boat. Remember, you can't sail directly into the wind, so that's a kind of an impossible situation to be in. But you can turn the nose of the boat through the wind, so that's called a tack. But you need momentum to do that, so you must make sure you're moving. And if you're struggling a little bit, say you've been head to wind, and you do manage to bear away, then make sure you just get some speed up before you do try and get through the wind. And then we've got coming around here, we've got close hold, reach, close reach, dead run, broad reach, beam reach, or just straight reach. So those are the kind of different points of sail that we'll be talking about as I kind of go through the triangular course. And of course, we've got starboard and port tack boats. So when the wind is over the starboard side, that's called starboard tack. When the wind is over the port side, we call that port tack. And that has a big influence over who has right of way when you're sailing. So let's look at this triangular course. Remember this, we said this was a kind of classic way of being able to show that you can sail on all points of sail. So they're all the points of sail, and a figure of 8 puts that to the test. It makes sure you can sail on all those points of sail. So we start off, we're at buoy number 1 here, mark number 1. We're on a reach here. So we're reaching across left and right on the lake here. The wind's coming directly down from the top. As we're doing that, we're thinking about our 5 essentials. So we had setting the sails is one of them. We've got, I'm testing my own brain here, we've got course made good, so making sure you're on the right course. You've got the centerboard or daggerboard, making sure that's all up and down. And then you've got your balance and your trim. So your balance is keeping the boat flat on the water, and the trim is your position in the boat, moving forward and back. Ideally, when you're sailing, you want to try and get your weight as far forward in the boat as possible to give you a maximum grip on the water. If you do need to slow down, maybe you could use obviously pointing the nose of the boat into the wind. It's a good way to slow down, but bringing your self towards the back of the boat, dragging the stern a little bit more is going to help slow the boat down as well. So if you need to do that. Now we're on our reach here. We need to have our centerboard in what position? I'm going to let you think about for a few seconds. So is it all the way up? Is it all the way down? Or is it in the middle? Up, down, or in the middle? So when you're on a reach going across, your centerboard is going to be halfway down. Yeah, so it's going to be in the middle. Okay, so that means imagine your boat there. That's all the way down. That's all the way up. You want it kind of halfway there like that. If you're daggerboard, then it's going to be up or down, slotting up and down there. So in sailing language, as we turn the nose of the boat around towards number 2, we're going to be bearing away. And as we're doing that, we're changing our centerboard. We're also changing our sail settings. We want our sail setting to be in the perfect position. I'm going to be sat out here on the port side, and we're going to be getting to mark number 2 and getting close to a dead run. Now, remember the 2 telltale signs for that you're about to jibe. If you're in a double hander boat or a double sail boat, sorry, then if the jib sail collapses, then that's an indication you're about to jibe. If you're in a single hander boat with a single sail, then you get a slight bubbling, a curvature of the sail just behind the mast. So that's a good kind of indication there as well. As you're coming around here, then you're going to be heading up. And again, you're going to be changing the position of your centerboard and your sail as well as you go around there. Sorry, I had to think about that for a second. You'll see here we've got marked on this one. You might be able to see it. It says windward, leeward. So remember, windward is towards the wind and leeward is away from the wind. And that's a particular point that comes in with the rules of sailing. So we're coming around number 3, and we're going to start to head up here, and we're going to start doing our tacking course to get a wind, because you can't sail directly into the wind. What you do is you zigzag your way up the wind. And as we discussed, you could go for a kind of multi-zig to get up there, or you could go for a long kind of trip out here and then do an attack and bring yourself in this direction here. You'll see that this one here, they have to tack and then they tack and then they tack again. The more you tack, the more momentum you're going to lose, particularly in a race. You want to be careful of that. There are people who have got a great technique that they can come out of the tack faster than when they went in. But when you're learning to sail, you probably won't find that. So just pick the right course that's going to give you the least amount of tacks, but give you as much exposure to the wind. And it's particularly important that you do make sure that let's say you're looking across the town at the market you've got to go to. You've got a choice between an area where it's quite clearly some wind and there's a glassy area where there's no wind. Try and stay in that area with some wind. You don't want to kind of go sailing into dead zone areas at all. And then we go around again. So remember, centerboard halfway, centerboard nearly all the way up, centerboard all the way up, starting to put it back down again, halfway, and then when we're going upwind, we want as much centerboard down as possible because we want to steer as close to that wind as possible. When you're sailing on a close haul course and you want to test how good the centerboard is, pick a point on the jetty and lift up that centerboard, and you'll see that the boat will start to turn away from there. It will bear away towards the leeward side of the wind. It will go away from the wind. So that centerboard really does help keep you in good positions. So when it comes to the rules of sailing, we've got two rules. We've got port boats must always give way to starboard boats. So that's port tack gives way to starboard tack, and windward boats keep clear of leeward boats. So let's just have a look at this quick scenario here. We've got a boat which is on port tack here because the person's going to be sat here on the port side looking at the sail, which is over on the starboard side. And on this boat here, we've got a boat in starboard tack because the person's going to be looking over to the port side where the sail is there. So the wind's going to be coming over the starboard side. So that means starboard tack, the wind here is coming over the port side. So that means it's on port tack. In this situation here, then it's the starboard rule applies. So it's that first rule. So the starboard boat has right of way over the port tack boat, and the port tack boat really should make it clear as to which way they're going to go to resolve that situation. If we had just a slightly different situation, so we've got two boats here on a collision course. We've got the port tack boat coming in, and this one is still on starboard. Person's still on starboard side here. Wind's still coming over the starboard side, so it's still starboard tack boat. Then that boat's going to make a decision what it's going to do there. This one could, in theory, hold its course. This one can either do attack like that, and that's going to be the most efficient in a race situation because if the other alternative is to go beneath that boat, so they're going to lose some position as they go around it. Now, it might be that the reason why they're doing that is because there's a big, nice windy patch over here, and that's a big load of glass that they don't want to, or there's a big bunch of fishermen, or there's weeds or something. Then all very well turning on that way, but you're going to put yourself in more peril. Whereas to go around that way, this boat's only going to do the same anyway. What might happen there is you kind of go around and avoid it, and then because of the weeds or the fishermen or whatever it is that's impending doom on that side there, this boat's going to be in the same situation. So it's in there. So in this situation here, both boats are on port tack, so there's no starboard port tack rule applies. In this situation, it's the windward boat that keeps clear. So now B is now in the blue boat is the boat that must keep clear. So windward boats must keep clear over leeward boats. So in theory, this boat could start to head up. This one shouldn't be in a position where it can push that boat away. It's got to keep clear of the blue boat's got to keep clear of the red boat. So those are kind of the kind of key scenarios. Let's have a look at just some slightly different things here. So let's spin this around and put two boats heading towards each other on a slightly different course. So let's put it like that there. Let's have a look at that. Port tack there, port tack again. So in the port tack situation, windward applies. So the windward boat must keep clear. So this one's going to have to change course. If this sail was on the other side, so that is now a starboard tack boat, then it has right of way over this one here. So starboard rule applies. So starboard boats have right of way over port tack boats. So it's this one here that must change course. So I'm going to go through these examples here. You can have a look at them. I'll pause for a second and let you think about it, and then I'll tell you the answer to each one. So here we go. So you've had a moment to think about that one. So we've got A and B here. A boat and B boat, they're on starboard tack, both of them. So what we're looking at here is the windward leeward rule that applies. So as B is windward of A, B must keep clear of A in that scenario. Let's have a look at the next one. So in this scenario here, we've got A and B. This one here is on port tack. This one is on starboard tack. So imagine this person sat there on the boat, starboard side, their right arm here, closest to the mast. So just working on that, my right arm is near the mast. For that, I have right of way rule. B has right of way over A, so A must steer clear of A. In this situation, we passed the port, so both boats would kind of turn in this kind of direction here to get around it. So have a look at the next one. So the answer to this one is that A is on port tack, B is on starboard tack. So again, similar to the one before, B has right of way, A must either change course or go around it. That you probably find that if in a situation where you're encountering this, if you're having a race, it's because A and B are both heading to different marks. You know, A is ahead of B, or B is ahead of A, and there's a mark over here for B, and there's a mark over here for A. Then that's why you're in that particular situation. So let's have a look at this one. Have a think. So this one here is on port tack because the wind's going over the port side. This one here is on starboard tack because the wind's going over the starboard side. So again, it's the port starboard rule applies. So starboard has the right of way, and A, although it's not in any danger of colliding, A must be the one that keeps out of the way. And then finally, we've got this situation. I'll give you a little bit longer on this one. So in this situation, you've got boat C, which is, so that's the port side, that's the starboard side, so that is on starboard tack. You've got this one and this one are both on port tack. So between C and B, the starboard rule applies. So boat C has right of way over B. And between B and A, because they're on the same tack, so remember, boats on the same tack, in the situation where a boat's on the same tack, the windward boat keeps clear. B has right of way over A. If C were to change its sail position to go across to be on port tack, then it's still going to have right of way over B and A because of the positions of windward boats. If A put itself in a position where its sail came over and it was on starboard tack, then it would actually have right of way to say to B, it's got to move out of the way because it's on starboard tack and B is on port tack. So just be mindful of that. I hope you found that all very useful. Thank you for coming and turning up and for sharing your thoughts. And give me a shout if you've got any more questions. Thank you.